Welcome everyone back to the Crimson 15 podcast. I'm your host, Crimson Sin. Be sure to follow us over on Twitter at C15 Podcast. Join the discussion over on Discord, link in description below. And if you're enjoying the reviews, be sure to sub, like, share, and hit that bell for notifications. Podcast character designs done by Demon Artie. Follow her over on Twitter at ArtieDemon. You're going to find some amazing artwork, fan art, originals, redesigns, just amazing stuff. So be sure to check her out and give her a like, a follow, and a retweet. Episode 8 of Carmen Sandiego, the Stockholm Syndrome caper, which doesn't really make any sense because that's not what happens. Quick, Stockholm Syndrome was like if, say, someone kidnaps somebody and then the person who got kidnapped kind of starts liking their kidnapper. But that doesn't really happen here. It opens up and we have V.I.L.E kind of going over the idea of abandoning their island because Maelstrom actually has the right way of thinking here. Is like, if she's working with A.C.M.E, she knows where this island is. They bring in all the feds, government agencies, we're screwed. So we need to get off this island. But they're like, we built everything here and we're going to just throw it all away. But what's better, getting caught? So they actually have a really good plan here. And from here on out, this episode is very, people have told me, like, because everyone watches every episode, that it was intense. And it is. Wow, this was a super cool episode for Zach and mainly for Ivy. Zach and Ivy they have to be the heroes here. Carmen is she ends up getting down and out, and it's pretty cool. This is a really, really intense, fun, but like keeps you on your toes, and you're just like, what's going to happen next. Then we get to they're in Stockholm, and they're in Sweden. It's super snowy. It just looks freaking cold. Two things I really love about this episode is these wide angle shots. I love them. Absolutely. The framing here, the cinematography is just magnificent. The music, it just plays into like the kind of the cold bitterness, being separated, being alone. It's just, this episode, just from those two artistic points of view, are just amazing. But A.C.M.E has a tail on Carmen, and whenever they show Carmen walking and it doesn't necessarily show her face or anything, you have to know, oh, it's not Carmen, it's Ivy dressed up as Carmen or a decoy. So they got eyes on her and they're tracking her down. They're gonna like bring her in, but I thought they're gonna try to like recruit her or something like that. And Julia's like grabs her pen and starts talking to Chief, and she's like, what the heck? Why are we doing this? We're gonna just chase her away. She's gonna think we're trying to arrest her and everything. And I like how Julia stands up to Chief, and Chief is like, we can't let her, she's still on the run. We have to like pin her down. But at the same time, trying to squeeze her, she's going to just make her run away. And Julia's like, let me talk to her. I can bring her in. She trusts me. We did those couple of jobs together. I have a repertoire with her. And, to Chief's, to give Chief credit here, she tells all the other agents, okay, stand down. Julia's on point here. Agent Argent's on point, and she's gonna handle this. Again, look at this like these wide shots of the buildings and everything, and it's cold, and it just feels, just like broken trust and stuff. And it's just great. I just love it. And she's like, okay, come on, Julia. She's talking to herself. I need to get this job done. And then, of course, Carmen Sandiego's right behind her, and she's like, oh, well, if you're here, then who's checking you? She's like, basically we know it's Ivy because she's running It's really funny because they ask her, she's like wearing her coat and everything, like, how does it fit? Carmen is physically fit woman, and Ivy is a little bit, she's stockier. She goes a little tight in the shoulders, and a little tight everywhere. Her and Zach, there's a little bit of a comedy here, and it's not so bad. It's kind of funny, and he's like, oh, if you're Carmen, that makes me player. Then he starts like doing an impersonation of player.
Stockholm, city in Sweden, famous for stocks, homes, and those little meatballs. And
of course, players like, guys, yeah, real funny. Then we get her edutainment. It feels a little shoehorned here, but it actually gets used in the episode a little bit. They talk about all the different bridges, how they have a lot of folklore about trolls and these little tumpkin guys. I hope I'm saying that right. They're like mini Santa Clauses, and they have a big bonfire at the end of the year. And there's this big, beautiful bell tower. We get to Carmen and Julia talking. They actually bring this up, which makes sense. Julia's like, yeah, it's a good place to get in from the cold, and you're a little underdressed. It's funny when a cartoon addresses the clothing options, because normally most cartoon characters wear the same clothes in every episode, but little capri pants and a little half jacket here, not necessarily what you need to wear. You should have been wearing like a huge like parka, 3 layers of clothes. But they start talking, and of course, rightfully so, Carmen is apprehensive. And, Joe's like, we can work together. And of course, she pickpocketed her pen. And she's like, oh, it's, this is how you talk to people and everything. That's like, we're alone. Unless I activate it, they can't track us, which I don't believe. There's no way in hell that A.C.M.E wouldn't have this tracker on at all times. That was kind of dumb of Carmen to think that they weren't being tracked. Then we get back to the other A.C.M.E agents and they're tracking Ivy, they think is Carmen. And one of the agents kind of sees her hair and realizes, oh crap, this isn't her. We get back to, what a beautiful shot here. They're inside that bell tower, this beautiful work of art on the wall. And Agent Argent's like, kind of going over what could V.I.L.E want to steal. She's talking about, there's Nobel Prize winning medals, there's ancient works of art, there's all these things here in the country. And Carmen's like, no, I'm this close. Goes, this is not just some type of heist. This is like, people can get killed. This is more bigger than that. I'm like, oh wow, well, this is something I wouldn't expect from a cartoon. Normally they're stealing, like they were trying to steal the Magna Carta or stuff like that, trying to make money. But this is actually like, they're going to like kill people, which is like awesome and ridiculous. Julia's this close to getting like, they could have done like a work together situation. But I guess since Julia was kind of went off the grid and she hasn't checked in, they just assumed Carmen Sandiego captured her or she was in some type of trouble. A.C.M.E wasn't wrong, but Chief also told Julia, I trust you. I see why everyone did what they did in this episode. This episode is about people making choices and how your choices have repercussions, that there is, things happen. It's great. Oh man, it's such a good episode. But the other agents kind of bust in and they're going to try to capture Carmen. And then Julia's like, oh no, you friggin' idiots. I don't know how Carmen let herself get surrounded, but they have their little gas guns. Like, oh, okay, cartoon. What can I do? They should have real guns. Then Julia looks at Carmen and she's like, almost has that look of like, oh, I'm sorry, because she didn't even set this up. But Carmen doesn't know that. She's like, yeah, really work together. Great one, Julia. You're a freaking lying sack of crap.
Trust you, huh?
No, it's not what you think.
She's on the run. She's beating up some of these agents, using their gas guns against them. Very acrobatic. She's running up the bell tower, and Julia's partner she gasses Carmen like, oh, she's gonna get caught. But Carmen's too good for that. She's running, but it's affecting her. It's hitting her vision. She's trying to get to the ledge so she can jump off. The animation in this episode is so good. She gets to the ledge, but she's trying to breathe because this gas is starting to really affect her. Look at this wide shot. I love these wide shots. She gets on the ledge and then stand down Carmen Sandiego, but she jumps off and gets her hang glider up. And it must be bitterly cold. I couldn't imagine how freaking cold she is right now. High up in the air, wind chill. She's barely wearing, regular winter clothes, let alone Stockholm winter clothes. And she's heading out of town and players like, hey, Carmen, check in. You're heading the city limits. Where are you going? Carmen, check in. But she's going down and she ends up crashing. And players like, oh crap.
Red.
You do realize you're leaving city limits. Red. Red. Answer me. Red.
They contact Ivy. Hey, Carmen's down. And Ivy's like, what do you mean Carmen's down? Like, Carmen doesn't get caught. Carmen doesn't get busted. I guess some V.I.L.E agents were tagging her as well, like following her along, and Ivy gets captured. Like, oh, so we got Carmen down in the woods, passed out in the bitter cold. Then we have Ivy being captured by V.I.L.E. It's all that's left is Zach. We see, look at Carmen here. And again, every time I'm gonna bring it up every time. Look at these wide shots. It is gorgeous, and she's passed out in the snow. I'm like, oh man, she could freaking die out there. Hypothermia. We get back to A.C.M.E, and Julia is rightfully pissed. She grabs her partner's pen and goes to contact Chief. And Chief is talking, what's her name, Zari? And she's like, oh, did the mission go as planned? And then Julia's like, if the operation was to lose all her trust and to chase Carmen away, I guess it was a mission accomplished. And Julia, she's pissed. She's like, Chief, you told me, you trusted me, you told me I can take care of this, and what did you do? You sent in the cavalry and you ruined everything. But at the same time, Chief is like, you went off the grid. I was afraid that you got capped. Like, it makes sense why she did what she did, but, it just like, I would have loved to see how that would have played out if they would have just had a conversation and they didn't bust in there like a freaking raid. Chief kind of says, hey, Julia, Carmen has your pen, doesn't she? And, it's like, there's so many reasons not to trust Carmen, but Carmen does what she has to do. Everyone just has a big, giant misunderstanding. Everyone's misunderstanding everybody. We have a dilemma here. We have two teammates in two separate locations that are in desperate need and only one person because it's just Zach. And Shadow Sun's on another mission. I think he said it was in Malaysia. He's on another mission. So it's just up to Zach, and he's like, what do I do? Who do I go after? They got to make, again, like I said, you got to make choices. You got to make decisions, and they got to be quick decisions. Player makes the right one. Carmen is the most valuable asset, but he realizes Carmen can take care of herself. Ivy, not so much. He's like, you need to go after your sister. Save her first. And once we get her, we can go after Carmen second because Carmen can survive. Carmen can fight. Carmen is, but it's still, you can tell it's a hard choice because it's like, oh, can't leave because she looks like she was, not answering, so she could be injured. Oh, so it's so great. And then this is what I talked about the music again. Carmen's down in the snow. The camera's moving around slowly. We see the trees and she starts to wake up. Oh, I'm going to try to play clips in here so you can get a little bit of sense of the scene. But Carmen wakes up. It's been 10, 20, half an hour. She has that stupid pen and she's like, if I use this, they're going to come arrest me. So I'm going to try to get out of here myself. Her leg's injured. She's kind of beat up. She's not dressed for the occasion. She tries to climb up this rock face because, she has to she's like in a little like valley. Kind of reminded me of How to Train Your Dragon, that little valley that Toothless was stuck in. But she can't contact anyone. Her communicators are busted. This is where you have redundancies. You have more than one way to contact your team, but maybe this is a lesson learned. She's like, F this pen. I'm not going to use it. I'm going to climb out of this thing. So she starts her climb. We get to Ivy. She's tied up in a chair, captured by V.I.L.E. And these two guys come in and, Otter and Moose. It should have been Squirrel and Moose. That would have been amazing. But they think she's Carmen Sandiego. And I'm thinking to myself, didn't they have, pictures of Carmen? They know what she looks like, but these guys never really met her. I still understand how they didn't, contact V.I.L.E. like instantaneously when they thought they had Carmen, but meh. She's sitting there, and this Moose guy, the bigger of the two, he's kind of an idiot. And I guess this is where the Stockholm Syndrome title tries to fit in, because Carmen kind of like, she doesn't charm him, but she gets him talking. It doesn't really fit, and he keeps the Otterman keeps telling him, dude, shut the hell up. We got her captured. We're gonna take care of this. But he, he just like being nice because Ivy's just kind of just talking, and he's like, oh, keep answering your questions, and he's like, dude, stop telling your information. Lock it. And she's like, oh, it's really cold. Can you hand me my coat? And then he's like, oh, sure. But, it has all the gadgets in there. And, of course, he's like, dude, don't give it to her. She's trying to trick you. I'm like, oh, pretty smart of Ivy. She's thinking on her feet. She goofs up, but she's trying her best, which is really cool. Every scene with Carmen surviving is just awesome. Again, look at this white shot. She's trying to climb this thing, and she's like, psyching herself up. We're almost there. Keep climbing. Don't quit now. You're cold, but it doesn't matter. She keeps climbing. Ledge gives way, tumbles down the freaking thing, and then she ends up on the ground again. She's like,
don't stop now.
And look how defeated she looks. Oh, it's awful. I feel so bad for Carmen. Get back to Moose and Otterman, and they have one of those little like Tumpkins, those little like imp-looking dudes, gnome-looking guys, and this is where that edutainment kind of plays into a little bit of helping of the whole situation, because Ivy's like, oh, you guys sure like your little Tumpkin things there, and he's like, oh, you know about those? And she's like, oh yeah, they go around delivering presents or meatballs or something. She wasn't really listening, but listening enough. And the guy's like, oh yeah, but ours is going to be delivering secret data. And the other guy was like, dude, shut up. Stop telling your stuff. And then Ivy's like, oh, so she's trying to figure out the whole plan. She's starting to get piecing things together. So Ivy's doing a good job she's not Carmen, Not even close, but she's doing a pretty good job of trying to solve this thing on her own and, just not just be captured and not do anything. Get back to Carmen, and she's out still. She's thinking about what to do. She's bundled up the much as she could. She doesn't want to use his pen. Oh, the music in the setting, it's so good. It's so depressing.
Chief, huh? You left me with some really fun choices. Ping you on your pen so you can send your suits to haul me in, or stay stuck in this hole. Either way, V.I.L.E wins.
Because we feel what Carmen feels. We know that she's hurt, she's injured, she needs help, but the people that can help her are going to arrest her. And if she gets arrested, then V.I.L.E wins. I didn't bring this up in the Fast and Furious episode when they stole the car. When she was yelling at Zack and Ivy, she's like, and then V.I.L.E wins. She's kind of obsessed with the idea of them not winning. Even though they're the bad guys, she's stopping them. She's putting this all on herself. I have to be the one to stop everyone. And, to stop V.I.L.E from doing what they're doing. Things are getting a little big. Because this caper, we find out a little later exactly what's going down. It's kind of beyond just one person. Get back to Ivy and, she's working this guy. She's talking to him and, hey, just kind of being nice and friendly because this Moose guy is an idiot. And he keeps kind of talking to her and they're talking about this data crystals. She's like, oh, wow, you can put the ice in the thing. It's a little overkill, all this ice. You think it's a little too obvious? And he's like, oh, no, it's really smart because we put launch codes in there. And I'm thinking launch codes? I'm thinking, oh, maybe it's like a space shuttle launch, something like that. No, these are straight up nuclear launch codes. We're talking weapons of mass destruction. And even Ivy's like, holy crap, this is bigger than anything. And she's rightfully like super scared. And then I thought this was cool too, because normally in a normal cartoon, the guy would be like, oh, you got me talking. And then they would continue their conversation. No, he's like, he's all pissed off now that she kind of tricked him into giving up, the plan. And he's going to straight up attack her. He's going to knock her out. I'm like, oh, damn. Ivy, kind of pushes herself out of the way, breaks her chair. She tries to fight this guy. She can't even hurt this dude. She tries to run away. She's slipping and falling, but it's because she slipped and fell that this guy tripped over her. He lands into one of the pillars and he gets his tongue stuck to the ice. The only way he's getting out of this is ripping probably a couple layers of his tongue off. And awful, but he's stuck. And I thought this was cute and it's fun because Ivy's like, and then Ivy has a decision to make. It's all about choices, right? The choices we make in our lives. She gets Carmen's jacket and hatch, like, go after Carmen or go after those launch codes. Even if I leave Carmen out there and she's stuck and arrested or maybe she might die, I got to get these launch codes because they can kill millions. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. And then she's like, got to do Carmen proud. I'm like, oh, that's so cool.
It's on you, Ivy. Do Carmen proud.
Oh, come on!
It was funny and it kind of breaks it because this is pretty damn serious. Breaks up the tension a little bit and it's believable because she's already a little bit clumsy. Get back to Carmen and she's sitting there and she's talking to herself. Well, here we go. It's either it's better to be arrested than dead. She hits the pen, throws it out there, and then Chief pops up. Oh, she's looking around because she has no idea who activated this pen. And then Carmen walks out. She's like, oh, Carmen Sandiego. And of course, look at the look on Carmen's face. She's effing pissed. I love it. She's like, oh, I apologize. And I think this was a good move by Chief. She's like, I'm apologizing for what happened earlier. It's just, you understand we have common enemies and we need to talk. We need to come together on this. Carmen's dismissive of everything because, she doesn't like these people. She doesn't like the cops. F the police. No, she's apprehensive because she doesn't want to get arrested. But Chief gives her a compelling argument. We have resources. We've been chasing the same enemy. I can help you. You basically just not necessarily straight up offers her a job, but offers her resources. All you need to do is give me information and I can get you what you need. And Carmen's like, you need to come rescue me first. But they're having problems triangulating where they're at. There's lots of interference in the middle of the woods, lots of snowfall. And, the chief's like, okay, we're trying. We'll come to you. Carmen succumbs to her injuries. She just falls over. She passed out.
Really wish I could tell you.
Carmen? Carmen!
She would have died. And it sucks for Chief because she is not physically there, of course, because she's the hologram projection, but she can see her, but can't help her. That's gotta suck to see someone who needs medical attention instantly and you can't do anything about it. not only is this a life of a person, it's all her information. She gets Carmen, she gets all that information about V.I.L.E, where their headquarters are, or what their operation is. But, she's down and out. Get back to Ivy. She tracked him to, they're in these ice hotels. I guess it was upstairs. He didn't really go anywhere. And she's slipping and sliding everywhere. And here's another comedy part. It's funny, but it's also like stupid. She sees Otterman and the buyer. And it's the guy with the briefcase, and they walk up to each other. She's like mouthing their lines. I'm Mr. Evil guy from Rogue Nation. Look at my cool look at my cool suitcase. Oh, haha, I have these lunch codes. Would you like to buy? Like, she's like doing their voices. The guy behind the counter, I guess, is like, the receptionist guy. He's like listening to all this. Like, what's this chick's problem? She's thinking, what would Carmen do? I have to be Carmen. I got to stop this. She gets a grapple hook and completely misses. Man, Ivy, you suck. And here's the thing. Whenever you're, this is not a gun, but it's like a gun. 2 hands on your gun. Get your stance. This whole wide angle isosceles, no, it's awful. Get 2 hands on the gun. Square your shoulders. But she completely misses, by 4 feet. Like, you suck. Hits the wall behind them. They kind of get caught. She pulls on it, so it, drags her towards them. Again, the animation is really, really well done.
We have been compromised.
And kind of crashes into them. They knock over the little, what are those little things called? And it shatters and goes everywhere. So they're digging through it, looking for the launch code little data thing. Ivy finds it. Instead of just pocketing it and pretending to keep looking, she announces it. You idiot. Otterman starts chasing her, gets knocked around. She tries to get away, but her freaking grapple hook is still connected to the wall. So when she runs, it pulls taut, knocks her over. She's making mistakes. She's trying, but she's making mistakes. And Moose breaks the whole pillar to get out of there. So his tongue's still stuck to the thing because he's trying to get up there and help his buddy. The little sled that the statue was on. Carmen runs and jumps on it. Just kind of slams her way through. And again, the animation is great here. And she's like, this isn't what Carmen would do. No, Carmen's a little more elegant than this. She'll do what she has to do to escape a situation, but this is very, very amateurish. She breaks out of the hotel, and Zach so happens to pull up at this exact time. And he saves his sister. She hugs him, and I like this. It's, you rescued me. Thank you for coming for me. Because she would have been stuck in the snow, just running away. So I'm glad she got rescued. I wish Zach would have done a little more. I know they're limited on time, and not to say you got to put the guys down, but of course the girls have to be propped up because, that's just the way 2019 is. But it would have been cool if Zach would have had to maybe fight some guards, lose a couple guys that were tailing him on vehicles, let him show his driving skill a little more. I wish Zach would have done a little more, but whatever. He saves his sister, and these 2 V.I.L.E operatives are done. They're like, whew, we beat those guys. I'm thinking, we got to go save Carmen now. Zach and Ivy's like, player, give us her coordinates. We're going for Carmen. We got to get her. Carmen's laying there, and she's in and out of consciousness, and she's the helicopter. I'm like, oh, A.C.M.E got there first. Zach and Ivy pull up and like, oh, no. They're got all these agents down there. She's captured. We lost Carmen. Then I thought this was pretty cool. The chief's playing a double game here. She's tracking her. There's no way she's not tracking her. She's all in one of those warming things. If you're hypothermia, they'll put you in these special little sleeping bags. And they're pumping hot air in there to get your blood temperature back up. Because Carmen is beat the F up. She's like, Carmen Sandiego, you need medical attention. We can get you to a hospital, or I can let you go with your friends. And Carmen's like, huh? Take this as a gesture of good faith that I trust you. You can go with your friends or you can come with us. Then Carmen's like, hey, have your pen back then. Kind of show a mutual respect. She's like, no, just hold on to it. You never know when you might need to talk to me. She looks over at Julia, and Julia still looks a little... She didn't want this to happen to Carmen. She did not want her to get hurt. She didn't want her to have to go through this because this is life-threatening. And, she chose to go with her friends. Carmen is determined. She's going to do this on her own with her own team. But she's so injured. God, this girl needs to get to a hospital. Sweden has great hospitals. Okay. That's an argument for another thing. But, Ivy's there with Carmen. She's like, it's going to be okay. We're going to take care of you. And we're going to get you to a hospital. She's like, and Carmen, man, what a badass.
She gonna make it?
Of course she is. No hospital.
mission. V.I.L.E operatives.
Oh, I love it. Nothing, you put nothing before the mission. She got a soldier's mindset. I love it. She's like, launch codes, we got to stop them. You know, they get those, so many lives can be can be in danger. And Ivy's like, don't worry about it. We took care of it. Carmen's like, well, with who? It's funny that she didn't think that Ivy and Zach could get it done. She just assumed it was someone else. That's funny, but it's also very true. And I love how Ivy, when she's talking to her right here.
What? By who?
By Carmen Sandiego. Who else?
She's very, her voice is low. It's sad, it's a little somber because her friend is hurt. Her friend could have died. And she's like, no, Carmen Sandiego took care of it. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. That made me smile. I love that kind of stuff. It's cheesy, but man, do I love it. You back to V.I.L.E and it's raining and Malmstrom announces to the graduating class, we're leaving the island. We're basically, light a bonfire. They're going to have to destroy this place. Remember how they destroyed that mansion when Zach was pretending to be that Duke? And the very next day, this place, V.I.L.E Island, is going to be destroyed. So whatever information they give, Carmen gives to A.C.M.E, it's still going to be good, but they're not going to be able to capture these guys. And man, they decided to leave right at the right moment to the graduating class. Coach is like, your only mission is to bring in Carmen Sandiego. No other missions matter now. I'm like, damn, they're bringing the heat to Carmen. And that's how the episode ends. Wow, what a cool episode. The music and the art is fantastic. I can't praise it enough. When Carmen's alone, when she's in the woods, the music is so somber. It's so sad. You got the snow falling. It's dark. You can feel the bitter cold. What an amazing job. Bravo. That just was great. Still not better than episode 3 with Shadow Sun, because just the brother family dynamic was just so cool. But this is another amazing episode of a quote unquote little kids cartoon for little kids that does an amazing job of telling a great story, of letting its characters grow. I'm glad Ivy got to be the hero and she got to do stuff, but she wasn't this unstoppable force. She effed up all the way through, but she kept trying. I just wish they would have gave Zach the same amount of coolness of like growing, but I guess they just limited it to Zach or to Ivy and Carmen. Carmen being a badass, putting the mission first, did everything to survive on her own before calling in for help. That's just cool, man. I love Carmen. She does such a great job. Things are getting serious on V.I.L.E Island. We got 2 more episodes, and man, this is a cool series, man. Season 2 has been so good. But 2 more to go. Catch you in those ones.
Where in the world are you?
Crimson Saint here. Thanks for watching the video. If you're enjoying the content, be sure to sub, like, share, and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss a single upload. If you have any tips or story ideas, hit us up on Twitter at C15 Podcast, or better yet, join our Discord server, link in the description below.